Handshake on the left. And who is on the right? Thinking emoji. Pro Throws. Pro Throws. All right, so let me update these names real quick.
Yeah, me too. On my piece of paper.
Pro Throws on the left. Firm Handshake. Or no, Firm Handshake's on the left. Pro Throws is on the right. Now, let's see. I'll let teams know that we're ready here. Now, I'm excited to see Pro Throws. I should remember this team. Now, Kyle, I don't know if I told you this story or not yet, but back when I was doing Heroes of the Dorm, and Verum had this idea. And if if he's still here in the crowd, he'll appreciate this. So we're gonna get the game started. So then Verum's like, "Hey guys, we should make a team for Open Division." And I was like, "Okay, like we can do that. That's fine." So it was me. It was Verum, a friend of his, myself, the Source, and one of the producers for Heroes of the Dorm. We made this team. And I was like, it'd be fun to do, LOL, just for kicks. Like, I don't even get a chance to play that much. So, I've been better.
The Zeratul ban.
Full respect. Full respect.
The Zera ban.
So I go into the lobby, and we're up against Pro Throws, and I'm like, wait, why are Solid Jake and J-How in the lobby right now? Like, we were on the main Open Division channel getting rocked by Pro Throws in a dude, it wasn't even close. We had never played together before. So 5 people who know the game and just randomly show up but go against this team who are obviously practiced, that we got blasted.
Oh, it's a tragedy.
And it was on display. Like, people just messaged me out there. They were just like, ouch, man. I was like, I don't have a response. Like, what can I say?
No, I think that's the definition of getting wrecked, but it's okay. Sounds like you did it with dignity. Okay, seriously though, exactly what I was saying before. There's the Zeratul ban. They must have watched the games. That snap Zeratul ban. Good call by Pro Throws. And then the Ariel ban again from Firm Handshake. They seriously do not want to play against this hero.
I mean, Ariel seems to be on the rise. That's for sure.
Whoa.
I've taken a moment. Now, see, Hero Physio and Royce, y'all know y'all are wrong for that. Y'all gotta give me a warning if you're gonna post Ginger Dread and his Evo picture. See, that's the means. So we're at 2 now. We need 3 more.
3 more. And then $10, right?
Yep. 3 more. You go to my Twitter account @_Haloran. You post a picture of Ginger Dread and his Evo. We need 3 more, and I will donate $10 to the prize pool.
Okay, seriously though, the first pick variant is pretty crazy. Pro Throws must have some sort of really calculated idea going through their head for this draft, because usually a first pick variant, opens you up, especially with so many S tier picks available.
Yeah.
They could have picked the Mouth, they could have picked the Gul'dan. You look over at Firm Handshake and we see the Gul'dan Mouth in the 1-2. So there's multiple picks there that could have came out. Maybe they're looking at a Zarya or something just to like push up onto this shrine. But so far, I'm loving the opener from Firm Handshake much more than Pro Throws. But of course, we'll have to have a look at the rest of this draft. Maybe they'll look at picking up a global. Or perhaps even the Lucio, because we've seen that being banned. Yeah, there's the Lucio and the Dahaka. I was going to say Dahaka over Falstad with the Lucio. Exactly what I thought that they were going to go with. And Lucio gets banned out in the second phase most of the time from what we've seen. So I like that pickup, but still, I don't think Varian Lucio Dahaka in the 1-3 is comparable to the Gul'dan Malfurion in the 1-2. So
Kalamaka, the community coach with the wise insight, predicts the Lucio and global presence. No, I like this. It's the rubber ducky Dahaka, so that puts a smile on my face. But yeah, I mean, Pro Throws are gambling hard on the first pick variant. It's not something you see every day. Like, variant was used last game to great effect by Firm Handshake. But as far as prioritization and being conscious of the meta, you take variant and you trade out Gul'dan Malfurion. I don't know. That they're gonna have to wow me with the rest of this comp.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure about the ban on this Zarya. I don't know if they would go Zarya. Zarya is fantastic on this map, obviously, but I just don't see Pro Throws going it with the Varian plus Dahaka. Like, I'm not sure if there's something I'm missing there. And maybe they've played against something that I'm not seeing. So, of course, there is that variable, but I personally don't see that happening. Again, compared to last game, I would love to see a Tychus ban, especially if they're electing to go multiple warrior heroes. But with the Gul'dan and Mouth, it might not be as necessary. So we'll have to see what Pro Throws decide to ban here.
I agree with you. With 2 warriors already selected, a Zarya pick for Pro Throws' comp meant that they would probably go. They would kind of have to go for another melee assassin, like someone to enable with the shield. So like maybe a Vala if you're trying to go range at that point. But it just seemed unlikely. I guess what that said
could have been okay. The Greymane on top of that, right?
Greymane would have been pretty decent. Yeah. That offers you some range and melee options and could be enabled. But I mean, Greymane also does a lot of work for Firm Handshake if it gets snapped up. Another Arthas ban. He's been getting banned a lot.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think of the Arthas right here. Of course, it's the Arthas ban because Firm Handshake need to select their warrior. I really like that ban. Maybe they'll go with something a little bit more shrine control-y. Firm Handshake. So will we see the Johanna? Will we see who else would be I don't know who I'd want to see here. Probably the Johanna, honestly, just for the more control over the shrine, because they already have the Gul'dan, right? They would just dumpster the shrines.
I agree. I mean, you would have a snap interrupt with Blessed Shield for Sound Barrier, a well-timed Condemn, or just a luckily timed Condemn.
Yeah.
Could interrupt Sound Barrier as well. I was wondering if we'd see Sonya show up in this draft. I don't believe that we will. Muradin and Greymane are going to get snapped up. Those are 2 very strong selections. I think I might have gone ETC over Muradin here, though.
I think so, too. Absolutely, because his early game strength is a lot easier to get off than Muradin's on this map in particular, because you miss so many storm bolts when you're contesting those shrines, but you can't miss a slide. You slide right over top. Well, you keep a ruck in, and then you follow up with that root, and then the Greymane damage, especially at level 10. Oh my gosh, with the increased value, the buffed Cursed Bullet now does 40% into this double warrior comp. I love the Greymane pickup, but I think the ETC would have been a little bit better than the Muradin.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a chance to play around with a Pinball Wizard at 7 for ETC.
Yep.
You do some real damage on your engage with that. I didn't respect how much that exactly did. Like, it was insane. So, I don't know. It would have been cool to see ETC here, but Muradin can get you some value outside of the Shrine phase with the setup. Stormbolt on the root's pretty neat. Cassius shows up. Kael'thas. First time we're seeing him tonight. He's a beast on Infernal Shrines.
So I was gonna mention the KT if I was able to talk about the draft before they finished, but I didn't expect the Cassia. That's pretty wild. So yeah, KT Cassie coming out. KT is actually going to play pretty safe, but obviously there's always the pressure from Greymane to dive onto the back, plus the Muradin diving as well. I really like this Cassia pick, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. Last pick for Firm Handshake, and they decided to go with the Leoric. Excellent pick. So they've got the anti-tank in Greymane, they have the anti-tank in Leoric, and then of course Gul'dan, he chunks out these warriors so hard with the Q build, so probably going to be seeing that coming through. I really, again, like the draft from Firm Handshake. They actually seem like they have a really firm grasp on this meta so far. Ooh, boys.
Oh, we in there. I mean, I need to see the Leoric play. Lately, I've seen Leorics really struggle, particularly in coordinated play. He could end up being a pinata if he doesn't play his cards right, but there are some really strong in-tune options on the other side for Pro Throws if you lock them in there. And then that sets up a lot of corruption damage potentially. So there's obvious value had out of that Leoric pick, but he throws his W on Dahaka. Dahaka could just burrow and avoid that. He throws a W on Varian, he just goes shield wall, and then that's not getting you too much value. So I'm curious to see how this Leoric shakes out.
Yeah, myself as well. It's a decent response as a solo laner into the Dahaka, but of course there's the no global pressure from Firm Handshake, and you know how I feel about globals no matter what map it's on. I love the macro play, so I don't know which draft I'd have to give it to. I like both of them, and I'm really stoked to see how this Cassia plays out.
Yeah, I'm equally as interested in this. On the left side this time, we have the members of Firm Handshake. Vestige is going to be on Murden. D Steves is on Greymane. Necromonkers playing Goldan. Kobe 21's on Mouth. And levels going off of Zeratul onto Leoric.
And on the right is Pro Throws. We have Spox on the Cassia, Theros on the Varian, Vereno on Dahaka, Lieutenant Dan playing that Kael'thas, and Sargeras dropping the beat on Lucio.
Here we go. Looking at the talents out of the gate. Perfect Storm for the added damage. Perfect Aim. Greymane, Pursuit of Flame, Scouting Drone, Hopelessness for the added range. To be extra annoying on Leoric. Primal Aggression, Mana Addict, so no convection stacks. We move together. Overpowered. Charge Strike's interesting.
Now, Charge Strikes is the one I want to talk about. That talent is absolutely insane, and we're going to see it gain so much value on these shrines because that's 8 seconds where Cassia is doing massive splash damage onto the shrine minions.
Yeah, it's a ton of damage to consider, and one of the reasons why even without any other blinds in the comp, you can understand why Cassio gets snapped up here. Stormbolt goes in, that's 1 stack for Vestige. Hits the Dwarf Toss, the Brute would have been there for the disengage if necessary. But the early gank potential that Zeratul brought to the table is not exactly going to be here with this composition.
Nope, not at all. I liked Vestige positioning on the right-hand side there, looking to try to deny the rotation. Wasn't able to do it because Pro Throws are actually rotating really well as the 4, which is something we didn't see from the last series. So I think this is actually going to be a lot closer just watching the movements of these teams.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Especially in that last game, we saw Firm Handshake have something of a field day just finding people off on their own. And without Zeratul, but D Steves and Levels putting the pressure on Vereno to drag into the tower range. Leoric will eat some damage for his trouble, but the gank is not going to go in.
No, and he's just able to heal up there as well. So excellent attempt from D Steves, and we see Leoric actually rotating from the top lane because he does lose pretty early into this Dahaka with no fealty available. Dahaka can pretty much just trade them out. So heads up play for rotating out, putting the Greymane at the top, seeing as how they weren't able to get any kill pressure going out into the calculated 4-mana Pro Throws. Really excellent call there.
Yeah, I really like seeing how both these teams are playing so far. I think we're going to have a much more even and hotly contested game. First shrine activates right now. Neither one of these teams are level 4. Dahaka can burrow down, catch his team up on experience. Theros, Lieutenant Dan, Spock step forward, get in on the action. 8 defenders in rising, just to 10. Theros starts to back away. Levels get some value out of the drain. Hope both of these teams jockeying for a position, but Varian's been getting poked down.
Yeah, absolutely. Dahaka pushed out this top lane, but it was matched by the Greymane in the mid. So wave missed mid for Pro Throws, wave missed top for Firm Handshake, so it's equal. Actually, so much damage going on to the Varian. He actually dives onto the Gul'dan and gets a kill.
Varian almost gets taken down, but Gul'dan for sure does. Levels is going to start to back away. Wraithwalk is the thing. The stun goes in on Vereno. Dahaka zoning out the remaining members of Firm Handshake, who are only 9 defenders away, but without that hero, it looks like they're going to back away. They do have some time, though, so this still could be a Punisher in their favor.
I think they could still look to contest, maybe trying to get some minions there with the splash damage from Greymane, but it looks like they are just giving it over to Pro Throws. Definitely the safer call for sure.
It looks like a bit of indecision, I feel, because if they were going to give this up, they could have just gotten ahead and started to soak experience and send people out the other lane. So it's almost like they were hanging around, deciding if they want to actually go in or not, but they lose out on both fronts. So this Frozen Punisher jumps over the wall, gets some damage on Vestige. Got to make those decisions.
I mean, you're totally right. Like, we would have seen the Gul'dan already in the top lane pushing it out. So, yeah, a little bit of indecision, as you said, and we definitely saw the value of Cassia's level 1 talent coming through there. Level 4 is picked up for everyone. Pretty standard. We see this solid tank variant coming through. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, actually, with... I love him as a tank. Like, he seems to do so much more damage than other warriors. Actually, Necromonger getting engaged on in the bottom lane, while I was discussing that there, and he goes down for a second time this game.
Gul'dan receives another set of party favors. Second takedown in favor of Pro Throws. Definitely seems like Pro Throws have isolated and identified we get success in these team fights, in these engages, when we put the screws to Gul'dan.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just the Varian, like, I love his level 1 talent in combination with that level 4 talent he picked up. Like, you're blocking so much damage and also resetting your heroic strike so often. Like, you're just crushing people. And we saw him take down that Gul'dan really early as well. So, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm excited to see Firm Handshake play on something that isn't the Zeratul. So we have levels on Leoric now.
Yeah, which is a very different hero from Zeratul. And I think we're starting to see some of their early success not be here because of that Zeratul ban. Levels is a very aggressive player, and Leoric doesn't offer you those mechanical abilities to jump around and have that kind of impact. So we're going to have to see a different style of play from Levels if he wants to try to make a huge difference for his team. Both these teams are even on level 7, though. There's still plenty of time.
Yeah, the Khazra camp picked up on the left-hand side of the map for Firm Handshake, whereas it was traded out on the bottom for Prothros, and Varian actually getting engaged on in the middle here, but he's able to just protect himself and walk away.
Shield Wall also helps Varian do exactly the same thing. No third win for Vestige, so he will be patching himself up at the normal rate. Necromongers rotates up. Some corruption out there. Vereno is extra slowed by the Leoric Swinglet. No takedowns just yet. Levels gets the party started for his team.
And we got the triple Q build for Greymane. I think it's especially strong on this map, so we're going to be looking at D-Steve's trying to get as many stacks on that Q as possible. None so far picked up, but I'm sure that's going to change very shortly.
See Theros and the crew, Prothros, waiting to move in. 21 defenders and rising, so they definitely have to make something happen sooner rather than later. Theros steps forward. The Drain Hope just misses. Wraithwalk is going to spare levels from a drag from Dahaka. Spox gets some poke damage on Necromongers. Gul'dan still alive and well, plenty of health and mana. But the well is going to get tapped by the members of Firm Handshake, and they're going to throw another set of dice at the wall, see if they can get this next punch.
And Prothros have put Firm Handshake into an awkward position now because they have the experience advantage and they also have the pressure mid. So Firm Handshake are like, okay, we don't want to lose so much, so that they just want to push into a fight. Necromonger does get licked there by the Dahaka, and now it looks like Vestige is getting a whole bunch of damage done on the boop and back into the fight, and he goes down as well. He goes down. No, first hero.
It's all credited from Vereno. They got the drag on Gul'dan, and that forced out a response from the rest of Firm Handshake. They saved Gul'dan, but it left Vestige forward. They get the takedown there. Only 11 defenders away from the next Punisher are the members of Firm Handshake, but they might just have to concede this one again.
Yeah, I think like most of that came from Prothros putting Dahaka mid with the Khazra camp, because like I said, it forced Firm Handshake into a decision of either A, hey, we lose in this mid lane because the camp's pushing in, or B, we lose the fight plus that. So they wanted to force a fight, right? And try to at least salvage the situation some way because they don't have a global, and they positioned poorly and lost because of it.
This could be a huge snowball. Not only do Prothros get the next Punisher, they also have their heroics now. So this bad boy jumps over the wall, gets some damage in on the fort at 32%. The taunt goes in after the charge. Nice drag. Vestige the target. Gravity lapse afterwards. The cleanse is going to be there, so he can dwarf toss out of there. But the damage is done as far as structures go. Top fort gets claimed.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Leoric just sat mid, just trying to get a little bit of experience for his team to try to equal up that advantage that Prothros has. They have the level 10 first, obviously. So now level 10's coming in for Firm Handshake. So now we're going to look to see them try to force a fight somewhere, I'm sure.
It was cheeky and bold of Prothros to try to step in there and go for this Bruiser camp. Heroics are picked up, so that could have been a dicey prospect for sure. But D-Steves and the crew are going to be able to come away with this Bruiser camp.
Wait, go for the throat into the double warrior? I'm not sure about that with the buffs coming in for Cursed Bullet. He's going like full poke build with Q. I was definitely expecting the Cursed Bullet to be there, not go for the throat because of the all the blinds available for Cassia, plus the sound barrier from Lucio and Mana Addict. Like, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to kill any of these backline targets with go for the throat.
Yeah, that is a curveball for sure, and it's definitely something that can cost him later on. When he does try to dive in, he just leaves himself in a weird spot, and it's not like Kael'thas has really been positioning forward enough, so that definitely could have huge implications. No Cursed Bullet for Greymane. Both teams just kind of jockeying for position. We see the aggressive steal on this siege camp. Not too shabby there.
Yeah, I like that. Now they're forcing Prothros to stay mid against these two Khazra camps or respawn bottom. So now they're doing the thing that Prothros did to them a little bit earlier on that top shrine. So they have to force a decision out of Prothros. So excellent call from Firm Handshake, because they are looking for a team fight, right? Let's be honest.
I mean, that's been their biggest strength so far tonight from what I've seen. Level 13 is not too far away from Prothros, though. So if Firm Handshake are going to look to try to force that issue, they need to do it before they find themselves down a tier. Next Shrine phase does activate just now. And we're starting to see some of the problems of the lack of decision-making from Firm Handshake.
Yeah, I agree. The wave is now crashing top, so they're losing some experience there. I would love to see them so they take this camp, now just force bottom and take this fort, because they can't contest, right? Like 13s are going to come in for pro throws. So they have to get experience one way or another. And actually they noticed the rotation coming down because they had vision from the minion wave. So nice call to back away there. They're going to be able to rotate mid, take this wave, and then maybe push top and just look for this 13. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to contest this.
Yeah, they are a long ways away from level 13, all things considered. So they definitely have to hang around and try to get some soak. The York is in the top lane to put try to minimize the value on that bruiser camp that was snapped up. But this macro pressure that Prothro has been putting on the members of Firm Handshake is really starting to pay off for him here.
Yeah, absolutely. Sending a bunch of damage goes out onto the Dahaka, but the adaptation gets popped, and the drag onto Malfurion into the tower range, but it's not quite enough to secure a kill onto Malf. That was an excellent play by Vereno.
Vereno almost nailed the classy 1v3 takedown on Malfurion. Of course, the classic, everything that everyone, you see that all the time. That was a nice drag, nice positioning and identification from Vereno. The bottom fort ultimately is going to get claimed, though. So I like that decision from Firm Handshake. You're down a tier. Go get some value.
They hit 13 like right before that, though. I think they maybe could have flash rotated mid and tried to contest, but maybe not. I think it was actually the safer call to push fort, and we've actually noticed a lot of safe macro plays coming up from Handshake, so at least it's consistent.
I would agree with that, but it's starting to cost them. I mean, they lost the top fort last time. This middle fort could be taken down by the time all things are said and done. It is. The Arcane Punisher, the old limbo bars, gonna force back the members. Firm Handshake. Oh, stun goes in. Punisher gets his last bit of value. Is it gonna be enough for a takedown, though? It doesn't look like it. Phoenix goes down for the disengage. That got a little close for level.
Yeah, a little bit. One heroic used in exchange for none. So, this is even more of a reason for Firm Handshake to try to make an aggressive play and get a pick. The Khazar camp comes up for pro throws, and they're positioning with one person defending as Varian. But it looks like we're going to see an invade here.
Vestige, the mobile ward, tries to spot out, sniffs out a bit more than he potentially could have looked for. Horrify goes in, a nice Twilight Dream. Cassia gets deleted. Vestige, surrounded by a lot of red, gets booped out of there, though. Shield wall's going to help there, stay alive for the moment. Cassia still waits to respawn. Kel'Thas goes down as well. This is starting to go back in the way of Firm Handshake. They were looking for team fighting. They got it.
Okay. So the Cursed Bullet would have gained a lot of value, obviously, but if you have a God Gul'dan on your team that just fears away the Lucio plus the Kael'thas, that just lets your Greymane just completely eat any backline target available. So no beat drops, no gravity laps to try to disengage from this Greymane, and Firm Handshake got the team fight that they were looking for. They invaded the Khazar camp, and they just absolutely decimated two members of Pro Throws, and now they're back in this game, Lauren.
Absolutely. I mean, they got even and ahead just a bit on experience, and it all came off of that team fight. We saw the most value and the most times they looked the strongest were during team fights. They got exactly that. And that Horrify from Necromonger's perfectly timed. When you go through an entire team fight and Lucio never uses their sound barrier, it's because it got interrupted and then the team lost and then they didn't even need it anymore. Nicely done.
Leoric backs after they managed to steal away that Khazar camp from Pro Throws, takes this massive wave top, so 16's closely approaching for Firm Handshake, and again, they're probably going to be looking to control this shrine and look for a team fight maybe off the back of it. But keep in mind, 16s are showing up for Pro Throws as well. Heroics available across the board, so I anticipate a little bit of blood here, Lauren.
Oh, for absolutely sure. I think this could be the defining team fight of the entire game. Level 16 is going to get picked up here first for the members of Firm Handshake, who are back in a position that they've seen they're most comfortable. When they're slightly inexperienced, when they're in a situation where they set the terms of a team fight, Vereno steps forward, dodges the Storm Bolt, flank comes in, Theros has to use one of his shield wall procs to save himself from some damage, but they got to watch out for that Horrify.
And 30 monkeys, as I call them. 32 picked up for Firm Handshake. They're looking at closing out this shrine here. They get a couple more, and yeah, it looks like Pro Throws are just backing off and conceding. Oh, actually, we have a pause coming through.
Theros leaves the game. Some disconnection issues. Vereno hits the pause. So I'm going to bring everyone back to the delightful fronts of our faces.
maybe we see a bot
Hello.
play for the rest of this game.
Oh, I
We've seen a lot of
mean,
success in HGC with bots. Let's
a
go. Yeah. Okay.
Reno said he thinks his net just cut out, so we might have one of those situations where we could see some bot action, which is really tough because I think this was going to be the most important moment in this entire game.
Me
Both
too.
these
Yep.
teams were level 16, but there were 38 monkeys, as you like to call them, already picked up for firm handshake, so they could have definitely got a lot of work done. This would have been their first Punisher of the game, right?
Yes. I actually expected a little bit more of a contest from Pro Throws here because both teams hit. Excuse me. Both teams hit level 16, and they're both in the right area, and no waves were crashing for either teams. So there was
Right.
no waves for Pro Throws to pick up, and they didn't need any because they're on the exact same talent tier. And honestly, like they can win a team fight if they play it properly. They just have to watch out for what that Gul'dan brings. We saw earlier when Firm Handshake invaded on the Khazra camp and they got that massive horrify onto multiple targets and then obviously a kill off of it. So that's pretty much the only thing that they had to look out for. But I definitely expected a little bit more of a contest from Pro Throws.
I agree. I mean, they've been playing it somewhat aggressively all game. Well, maybe not necessarily aggressively, but they've been present. Like they've definitely shown up when they needed to, and they haven't shied away from a team fight. So for the momentum to swing back in the way of a firm handshake as it has, and to have this moment where it's like, all right, both teams are in even talent tiers. You have two forts in mid and top, so this lane's particularly important to you if you're Pro Throws because now it's going to walk directly towards your keep and potentially pave the way for catapults. Show up and try to fight for this.
Was
So
this the long con? Was it okay? So the first, hold on. The first Punisher was top. Second one was middle, and this is the third one that we're experiencing. But do you remember when 13s came in for Handshake against? Or yeah, they came in for Handshake and they ignored the middle shrine. Do you remember? And I was like, they take the bottom fort instead. They knew 100% that the next shrine was going to be bottom. Was that the long con? Were they like,
the
yo, we're banking on our level 16 advantage. We're going to get level 16. We have this bottom fort taken. We want that Punisher. We're looking at a keep.
the Fox of Hots
Is it the long
begs the question: is it the long con? And we got to see some of the Illuminatis in the chat because that would be in if they end up winning this game. If they get some kind of crazy push off of this to get a string of takedowns and they close the game out, I'm just gonna look over and be like, Colin,
it's it.
It's the long con.
Right? Because Firm Handshake also have the poke build with Gul'dan, so they're going to gain massive value on this siege on the keep. However, Prothros do have a lot of D-push and anti-siege, so like they have the Phoenix to zone down, they have the Kael'thas to do a whole bunch of damage onto the siege of Firm Handshake. They also have the Cassius splash damage, excuse me. So there is solid defense from Prothros, but I think Firm Handshake are going to be able to gain a lot of value off this, especially with their Gul'dan and Greymane poke.
I absolutely agree. I mean, the full cocktail build set up from Greymane, albeit he does have go for the throat, so it's not like, you get that, oh, where's 40% of my health? Like, you don't have to worry about that so much.
Yeah.
But you do have the poke from Greymane. You have a Gul'dan who's demonstrated an ability to get a game-changing Horrify.
Yeah.
You'll have a mid to late game Punisher in your employ to set up easy stuns. Stun on the right person into a Horrify. Someone ends up waiting to respawn. So this is a situation get out of hand pretty quick. But Theros is back now in the game. Nice. Level set A. But yeah, we're ready here. They said, no, wait. Oh, joking. Levels just debated us in the all chat. But we're going to see how this plays out. Could this be the beginning of the long con?
Let's find out.
All right, LOL, no problem. We're going to get this show back on the road because with 38 defenders to only 10, this is definitely going to be a Punisher. Going over to Firm Handshake. Okay, they'll get ready for real. I'll go ahead and switch this back now. So Vereno paused the game. So they got a 3-2-3. 3, 2, 3, go. Oh, the Entomb goes in on Theros. He's like, oh, wait, that's right. I was positioned kind of forward, all considered. Gets the Entomb. No follow-up damage there. Don't want to waste your heroics. Want to take that on Varian. Save your Horrify and like for this push with the Mortar Punisher.
So they do pick it up. They're pushing out this bottom lane. They've got the gray main. There's no structures available on the bottom side. They're looking at this keep. If they get picks, they're looking at the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the question. How much value do they get off of this? Their first Punisher of the game. Gonan Cocktail hits the well, hits Spox right afterwards. Nicely done. Stun goes in. Shield wall right after. Vereno uses his bro relatively early. Drags a minion. Misses the engaged possibility there. Bottom keep starts to see some damage. Plenty of health left yet on this Mortar Punisher. Next stun goes in. Vereno steps forward. Gravity Lapse goes out. Nice in tune from levels. The beat gets dropped after the Horrify, so that's going to be a hair late. Spock's forcing back the members of Firm Handshake. Necromonger's low enough, trying to get enough health back. With the lowered armor, he is going to get taken down. Level steps forward, gets turned into a ghost. This is a full-on bloodbath, Colin.
And this is the Greymane gaining so much value. Oh, he doesn't quite get the second kill there, and they're going to have to back off. Oh, he does get the splash damage with his Q. Kills Varian, but yeah, Firm Handshake backing off of this. Not able to get any damage done onto the core of Prothros. I wanted to highlight really quickly there, the Horrify was fantastic again, but it just came out a hair too late because we saw the beat get dropped, and then everyone had a full shield. Or not everyone, but most of the targets had a full shield, so they weren't actually able to get any kills off of that. I think that would have been the end of the game if that came out a hair earlier, but of course, you know, there's really no way for him to anticipate that better than he did. So yeah, so close.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, that sound barrier landing was the difference between that just being the bottom key or us talking about the game post-mortem. Because, I mean, that shield kept enough members alive. They lost heroes, but they were able to, you know, do enough damage to stave off the end of the game. So, for the moment, they're still alive, down about half a level or so. So, you know, it's up in the air who's going to get to level 20 first. But with Catapults pushing in the bottom for the rest of the game, Doc is going to be on janitorial duty.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay down there for most of the time. So it's not the best situation for them because they have their hard camp top and they also have pressure onto the top keep, so they would have liked to have Dahaka up there. So excellent job by Firm Handshake. They take the Khazar camps in the mid, they push out mid a little bit, and actually the TP comes in from Dahaka, and it looks like there's a team fight unfolding.
Dahaka says surprise, drops in the lower armor. A lot of damage goes in on Cassia. Caught forward and taken down. The Twilight Dream is going to silence Varian. No shield wall. He does pop that afterwards. Stun goes in on Vereno. That engagement didn't pay off for the members of Prothros at all.
No, definitely not. Dahaka had to teleport, or sorry, brush stock into this middle lane, and he was, you know, a little bit caught out there, and Cassia stepped up a little bit too far and took a whole bunch of damage from the Murden combo plus follow-up damage from the backline of Handshake. And yeah, dead javelin tosser.
I like the idea. I mean, it was something of a surprise. I wasn't anticipating Dahaka broing in and being aggressive, but that's something you have to try to do before level 20 comes around the corner. Next shrine is going to be in the top part of the map, activating right meow, with the top fort already in the still available for the members of Prothros, while the top fort is down for Firm Handshake. This could be a huge snowball moment the other way.
Nice job. Cassia is down, so there's not a whole lot of contest for Prothros. I think I would have liked to see at least sending one member of Handshake into this mid lane to catch the one wave that crashed, plus the second wave. It would have you know, increased their speed at getting level 20, but it looks like Prothros don't want anything to do with it. They are closing in, actually, so I spoke too soon.
They have to try to make something happen sooner rather than later. The charge goes in on Greymane. Horrify is going to drop as well. Nice stun going on Vestus. Sound barrier is going to land. Levels on an island. Is able to Wraith walk out of there. Potential. The chase is going to be on into the taunt. No escapes. Leoric is once again Casper. Level 20 not yet here. 32 the vendors already picked up though. So this still could go the way of Firm Handshake.
Loved the force by Prothros. That was the only fight that they were going to get pre-20 and pre-Punisher. So excellent job by Prothros to engage on that top shrine and force a fight. Like I said, if Firm Handshake just sent one person mid lane, they would have been level 20 at that point and no contest in this top side. So, but they were just looking at throwing all of their resources into getting the shrine as fast as they could, and they paid a little bit for it. But level 20 is here. Leoric coming back online.
Or at the very least, they would have been level 20 right after Leoric dies, and then they could have
Exactly.
stepped back in here and taken a serious run at this Punisher. But now they're dealing with a late game Arcane Punisher, and the top fort's already down. Now they're in a position, if they lose a bunch of heroes, this could be the end of the game.
Exactly. Dahaka is going back because we do see the catapults closing in on the core of Prothros. Meanwhile, the impending doom of the Arcane Punisher pushing the top lane for Prothros as well. The brushstock is going to be available for the teleport top, but it looks like Prothros are just kind of abandoning the Punisher and letting it get chunked down by Firm Handshake and just trying to take away the Shaman camp. So
I get it. I mean, they needed level 20, but now it's here. But Prothros may have been a hair late. The stun goes in. Leoric gets rocked after the Punisher stun. He will be back sooner rather than later. After all, he is Leoric, but this could be at least the top key.
yeah, Prothros are completely forcing this. The Mortal's now going to be pushing in. But he's at almost 1% HP there and dies to the splash damage from Greymane.
I actually think that Gonan cocktail could potentially still save the game, because even if, with only 1%, if he got another stun in, the follow-up could have been there to potentially end the game. So taking on that Punisher before he was able to jump again is the engage tool that I think Prothros really could have taken advantage of, and that might have just saved the game.
Yeah, Prothros stuck around on that top side, flirting with the idea of ending, but if they tried to do that, that was definitely the end of the game for them. So yeah, if they were able to save I actually think them taking that top camp was hugely detrimental, because they let almost 80% of the Punisher's health drain to the keep, whereas they could have been pushing in with the splash damage from Cassia, plus the Phoenix from Kael'thas. They would have been able to do so much damage to the structures of Firm Handshake, and maybe even have like a 30 or 40% immortal pushing plus a dead Leoric instead of a 1%. So I wonder if things would have changed.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, they have enough range poke options in Kael'thas to, if anything, preserve the health of that Punisher a hair longer. And then they might have had a Meteor Punisher for that last bit there. But Levels goes in, gets the Entomb. Not on the most ideal target, but Reno is going to hang out there. Nice gravity lapse with a couple of members. Theros vaults in, gets the charge, gets the slow on Vestige afterwards. The taunt goes in after the Avatar. Horrified drops a nice Twilight Dream into the ice block afterwards. And oh my word, Lieutenant Dan's going to get called out. That Twilight Dream silences the crowd.
Okay, that was the dream. Excellent call. I was going to say that Firm Handshake traded really well there, because they got adaptation plus what was it, Phoenix? No, Ball Lightning. I forget which one it was, but I looked up and saw it. They traded out 2 heroics for just an Entomb, which was fantastic, because if they force a fight soon, they would have been completely fine to force anything into Prothros, but they get that massive Twilight Dream. They get the team fight that they're looking for, and now they're looking to end the game.
Feels pretty decent. That Twilight Dream paves the way for the shield to go down. Kael'thas is going to have the game of his life right now if they're going to prolong this one, but I do believe the members of Firm Handshake have done it. They're going to give that gentleman shake over to the member of Prothros and say GG.
Definitely a good game. 13% damage done to the core of Firm Handshake there. Not better than 100%, of course. Yeah.
I was really impressed with Firm Handshake over the course of that game. I was wondering to see how well they would do without Zeratul in their employ. So far tonight, we've seen Levels on Zeratul get all kinds of work done, enable so many things for his team. Zeratul gets banned out. He gets put on an entirely separate style of hero in a form of Leoric. And while they struggled early on, I think once they found their rhythm, once they got level 13, level 16, we saw them get back to business and play the game how they usually play.
He definitely didn't have the same effect that he had on Zeratul, but I think he played his role really well. In fact, that Entomb bottom lane forced the team fight that got 2 heroics out and won them the game. So, well, of course, his Entomb didn't win them the game. I'm pretty sure that Twilight Dream was god tier. That was some June level Twilight Dreams. I got you, my dude. Yeah, but yeah, nice. But yeah, excellent play there. What was it? So it wasn't quite the long con, but they did get a keep off of that call. So I don't know. I liked the play from Firm Handshake. They held it through till the end there, even after losing so many of the Punishers. They played real well.
I was impressed. We're going to see them go up against a very strong team in the form of Shot in the Dorm losing bullets.
Ooh, let's go.
Hoss and some of the memers of that team hanging out in chat just now. So they've they've had to have had an opportunity to see the level of play they're going to be up against. While we're getting